This country name is Zambia, but everything you see on the surface here is an absolute illusion. Stand on the edge of the roaring Victoria Falls, feeling the icy mist hit your face as millions of liters of water plunge into the roaring gorge below, and your eyes will adjust to a picture postcard paradise. Luxury safari lodges line the banks. High-spending international tourists cross the river on chartered helicopters, and open-top jeeps cruise through protected national parks. The world looks at this peaceful southern African nation and sees a quiet, stable sanctuary, a land of breathtaking natural wonders, wildlife conservation, and welcoming smiles. But right beneath this glossy, highly marketed exterior lies a completely parallel universe. A massive, high-stakes battle for dominance is unfolding in total secrecy, where foreign mining moguls exploit the earth, unregulated informal trade hubs run the cities, and a fierce daily struggle for survival operates entirely out of sight of the luxury safari trucks. This is the raw, untold story of the hidden copper barons, the forbidden shadow networks, and the secret realities that the tourist agencies never want you to see. To understand the actual power and secret wealth running this landscape, you have to look completely away from the roaring waterfalls and luxury safari camps. Head north into the industrial heartland known as the Copperbelt, where the entire ground beneath your feet is stuffed with billions of dollars worth of red metal. While official state broadcasts celebrate green energy shifts and corporate trade partnerships, the real power operates down inside massive, heavily guarded mining compounds. If you step past the high security walls into the industrial processing towns of Dola, Kitwe, or Shambishi, you enter an enclave owned and operated almost entirely by foreign conglomerates and private cartels. This is not a place for ecotourism or scenic views. This is the beating heart of the nation's shadow wealth, an intense, high-output industrial zone where massive raw shipments leave the earth every single hour, destined for global tech markets, while local communities watch the value of their soil vanish across borders. The system operating inside these high-security mining zones runs entirely on private logistics networks and exclusive corporate infrastructure, completely bypassing the local populations living right outside the gates. Inside these heavily guarded compounds, foreign managers and elite brokers oversee massive processing plants that run non-stop through the night. If a major mining syndicate needs to transport tons of raw refined ore across international borders without facing local delays, they operate through private transport corridors and specialized logistics permits that bypass standard public roads entirely. This industrial extraction moves massive wealth completely undetected by the average citizen, leaving the surrounding local towns to breathe in heavy sulfur dust while foreign investors build multi-million-dollar fortunes off the land. But the real mystery of this landscape extends far deeper than the corporate fences of the Copperbelt. Step off the main highways into the sprawling, dusty peri-urban settlements surrounding the capital city of Lusaka, and you will enter a massive, self-governing parallel society. While foreign travel documentaries show pristine African wilderness, millions of ordinary citizens survive inside vast, informal settlements like Soweto Market, a massive, labyrinthine concrete jungle where formal employment does not exist. Here, a thriving, completely off-the-grid shadow market dictates the price of daily life. Thousands of informal vendors, unlicensed transport fleets, and decentralized trade stalls handle every single piece of daily survival, operating entirely through local neighborhood bosses and unspoken street codes that state enforcement officers rarely dare to challenge. This informal street network operates through a deeply entrenched system of localized market committees that run completely parallel to official government administrative offices. They settle territorial disputes among traders, manage informal security forces, and allocate trade stalls using ancestral tribal networks and local community pacts far away from any formal court of law. A single decision made by an influential market boss in the dense alleys of Lusaka can instantly change the supply of food, fuel, and transport across an entire district overnight. This underground economic machine generates billions in raw local trade that never touches a formal tax ledger, creating an alternative power structure that keeps the working class alive while keeping them completely off the official radar. On the city streets, the daily reality is strictly governed by a complex and deeply stratified social hierarchy that tourists are completely blind to. The public image presented to the world is one of unified national peace and rapid development. However, the stark divide between the mining elite and the working class has quietly split society into highly rigid economic classes. At the absolute top sit the foreign mining executives, corporate logistics barons, and political elites who control land concessions. Below them is a small urban middle class, while the vast majority of citizens are relegated to the lower tier, working exhausting hours in informal hand-dug pits or open-air market stalls just to navigate rising costs of basic living. The rules of daily survival are applied entirely based on where you land on this social ladder. A high-level executive or connected property owner can easily navigate the city in air-conditioned luxury SUVs, utilizing heavily guarded private compounds, private generators, and exclusive country clubs that screen out the daily struggles of the public grid. Meanwhile, an ordinary citizen trying to run a small roadside stall or working an informal night shift faces constant harassment, abrupt market clearances, and intense municipal scrutiny from local enforcement teams without any legal protection or recourse. This is the real face of the landscape where immense mineral wealth and raw daily survival collide in absolute secrecy. The deep economic divide running through this landscape doesn't just end at the security fences of the Copperbelt mining compounds. It shapes the very survival of the entire nation. While official media channels broadcast peaceful wildlife footage and luxury safari lodges, a massive, hidden network of informal resource extraction and alternative trade runs completely in the dark. The true lifeblood of thousands of rural families is the underground network of informal, hand-dug mining pits spread across the bush. Known locally as Jarabos, groups of young, informal miners dig deep into unregistered copper and emerald deposits, using primitive tools, operating entirely outside formal labor channels. Every single day, tons of untraced raw minerals pass through a complex web of local brokers and hidden transport networks, creating a multi-million-dollar shadow pipeline that feeds raw materials into global supply chains long before official inspectors ever know it exists. To see where the wealth generated by these vast mineral deals and luxury safari operations actually goes, you have to look closely at the hidden real estate boom transforming exclusive pockets of the capital. In heavily guarded, gated enclaves in eastern Lusaka, massive private estates and ultra-modern residential compounds tower over dusty, unpaved side streets. These ostentatious properties feature high-tech solar microgrids, private borehole water systems, and heavy physical security barriers that completely disconnect the residents from the struggling public infrastructure outside. On paper, the individuals who acquire these high-value properties maintain a remarkably quiet public profile. In reality, they are the primary architects of the private logistics and land concession networks. They use physical property and gated developments to lock in their fortunes, creating ultra-exclusive safe havens that allow the elite to multiply their assets far out of reach of the general public. But the most tightly guarded secret in this divided society is the hidden network of private medical sanctuaries and high-end healthcare arrangements catering exclusively to the wealthy. Due to immense strain on public facilities, state-run hospitals regularly face severe shortages of basic supplies, specialized equipment, and essential medication. This harsh reality has given rise to a highly lucrative, completely private medical market operating behind closed doors in affluent urban suburbs. Wealthy families and connected elites do not line up at crowded public clinics. Instead, They utilize private medical wings staffed by internationally trained specialists or arrange emergency air evacuation services directly to high-end private facilities across the border. In these hidden networks, top-tier medical care is traded exclusively through private contracts and secure foreign transactions, ensuring that the elite enjoy world-class security, while ordinary citizens rely on underfunded local dispensaries or traditional remedies. At the exact same time, an entirely separate set of rules governs the movement of high-value cargo and luxury assets across the country's borders. While ordinary street vendors and small-scale traders face constant municipal inspections, heavy impound fees, and daily scrutiny for trying to sell basic goods along transit corridors, the elite class navigates the landscape with complete fluid ease. Heavy transport trucks packed with unrefined mineral samples, imported luxury goods, and high-tech equipment move smoothly through regional transit checkpoints without facing lengthy delays or structural inspections, simply because the operators possess the correct private logistics clearances and elite connections. This creates a parallel reality where strict regulations and bureaucratic hurdles completely dissolve the moment a high-value corporate asset or an influential figure enters the frame. The ultimate control of this landscape rests in a delicate, unspoken balance between the corporate logistics operators managing the mining corridors and the traditional tribal chiefs who command absolute authority over rural land distribution. While the central administration manages official state policy in the city, vast swathes of rural territory remain under the direct control of customary royal establishments. These traditional leaders hold the ultimate power to grant or deny access to ancestral lands, natural water sources, and mineral-rich territories. The corporate elites and foreign investors must navigate these ancient, unwritten protocols just as carefully as official state laws, creating a dual-power dynamic where ancient tribal authority and modern industrial wealth operate side by side to maintain absolute control over the land's hidden riches. If you want to understand the true mechanics of how this hidden world operates, from the secret copper pipelines to the private land barons, we have a whole second chapter ready to drop. If you want to see part 3, hit that 15K like goal on this video right now to unlock the next chapter. And if you are ready to see more unbelievable realities caught on camera that they never wanted you to witness, click right now on the next video appearing on your screen to dive straight into the next documentary.